Hi, Eddie here with a guitar lesson for beginners who would like to learn to play solo acoustic guitar without any accompaniment. To do this, the first thing you want to learn is your chords and your scales. Most important of all is the scales, and you need to learn to play your scales quickly. There are plenty of books that will show you the positions of scales and chords. I will show all this in the chords of C, F and G7 in the scale of C. This is the three chords, basic chords in the scale of C. I do this because it is the simplest for you to learn and the easiest. The scale of C starts off at the 3rd fret on the 5th string, and you go, and then if at the end of the scale you play the chord of C, you will learn to associate the two together. The simplest way to start is to start with a tune that you know extremely well, a fairly simple tune. Can be anything. Be Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, or in this country the most popular one is a song called You Are My Sunshine, which is a fairly well known song. But any song that you know well, if you can play by ear, if you can pick up the notes by ear, you can learn to play the notes. First of all, just once you've got the scales, you'll find the notes for the tune in that scale. So You Are My Sunshine starts off in G and goes to C. Right. And then there is an unusual note which you, if you can pick a tune that doesn't have it, it's a flat. It goes. And you learn the tune just playing the notes. Forget about the chords. Once you're familiar with the tune and can play it fairly quickly, which you will be able to do if you learn your chords by playing the chords up and down. If you're going to finger pick, use your thumb for the 4th, 5th and 6th, and your fingers, I'm not very good at this because of the arthritis, for the top 3 strings. First string, the first finger for the 3rd string, 2nd finger for the 5th string, and the 3rd finger for the 6th string. So you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6. So you go, and the scale of G is practicing these scales will enable you to play a tune in any key that you like. I say C because once you've learned to play the tune, a simple tune, any simple tune, every so often put in a chord. So as you're playing the tune, you must learn to play the tune just single notes first, and once you've done that, you will learn which chord fits in. If you play a chord and it's the wrong chord, you'll notice it because it won't sound right. If you play the right chord, it'll just sound as if you're playing the tune. So there you go. this with fingers at the moment. If you can play with your fingers, do so by all means. Me, I have to use a pick, and I'm going to have to go and get. This is the way you practice the scale. I will say C is the best one to start off in. And at the end, you can always fit the chord of C to the first note in the scale and the last note in the scale, both of which are the note C. Whatever note you start off in is the root note of the scale, and it's also the root note of the chord, the major chord. If you've seen any of my other videos on guitar playing, you'll see I told you that a chord is built up by the first note, the third note, and the fifth note. For a scale, there are only 3 notes. In a 6-string chord, those notes are repeated. It can be any one of those, any of those 3 notes will make that chord. Any other notes will make a different chord. So in the 6 strings chord of C, you've got G, C, A, E, G, C, E. And that's the full 6-string chord. As you can see, the G is repeated twice, the C is repeated twice, and the E is repeated twice. So you've got 2 C's, 2 G's and 2 E's in a 6-string chord of C. I can't tell you any more that the only way you'll learn that is by keep doing it over and over and over. Once you've got the scales, all tunes are built up from the notes of the scale, apart from what is known as accidentals. That is a note that is either sharp or flat and is not in the scale. As in You Are My Sunshine, you have E and E flat. If you keep practicing this, and if you can do your fingers with some for the 6th, 5th and 4th string, and the first finger with the 3rd, second finger for the 2nd and 5th, and the 3rd finger for the 6th string, if you can do that and practice that to start with, you'll get used to playing that way. When you get to my age, you'll have to use a pick because arthritis sets in and your fingers don't always do what you want them to do. But you can't beat learning scales, and once you've learned in one particular scale, you can transfer it to a different key. Because when they talk about a key of music, that they are referring to the first note of the scale. You'll find that you can pick up quite a lot of tunes. But, I'll just do that's all for now.